LGBTQ plus youth houselessness is a huge problem in America, including Philadelphia. According to a study conducted by Chapin Hill at the University of Chicago, LGBTQ plus youth are at a 120% higher risk for homelessness. And, according to True Colors United, 40% of youth experiencing houselessness are LGBTQ plus, but they only make up an estimated 7% of youth in the U.S. It is important to listen to youth experiencing homelessness and professionals who work with them to fully understand the issue at hand.
Currently, I'm living at the Covenant House, so I am homeless, but living in a shelter. So at least I have a roof over my head and food and safety.
Our work is focused on building relationships with young people. When they come into shelter, they don't know the staff. They might not be comfortable in this environment. So our goal is to build a relationship to establish trust, and that trust and that relationship form the foundation for our work together.
So when I found the Attic Youth Center, it gave me this kind of taught me to be strong and to be happy with who I was, even if I wasn't sure back then. So I'm glad that this place, that the Attic Youth Center, is still that place today.
We find ourselves in a really interesting moment right now of making space because when we talk about figuratively making space, right, unapologetically turning our volume up, showing up, and not saying sorry for who we are, I recognize in myself that there are literal spaces that we have to make.
Collaborating, partnering, supporting, donating to those organizations that are already doing the work, that are already connected to this community of youth, I think is the best way to move those things forward.
There's a lot of teens who are wanting to get away, or they are kicked out of the house, or just need that support or know where to go in case of an emergency.
The violence that you experience maybe in your home environment or your community is like greater than the possibility of leaving that and kind of risking the unknown and finding your people.
I think a lot of us, especially myself, if I had my mother to talk to about what I was going through, I would have made some very, very different decisions in my transition. I would have made some very, very different decisions on how to survive while transitioning if I had my mother's support then.
I'm in this situation because I was kicked out of my parents' house due to me being trans and being 18, and my stepfather and I weren't very compatible with each other. We weren't getting along very well, and he was very homophobic and transphobic, so I had to leave.
We need to do work internally and externally to cultivate safer spaces and braver spaces for young people. And that starts with just believing them and loving them when they tell us who they are.
It must involve changing the hearts and minds of people, especially parents or guardians who care for LGBTQ plus youth.
If they are to care for these people, is to do that with love and respect. And that's something that we can do.
In one sense, it's the same community passing around the same $20 bill. And I think we really need to shift the conversation so that other resources coming from other places are able to provide that kind of security.
There's only one shelter so far that services trans individuals and some trans youth who are experiencing homelessness. And as much as that's a beautiful thing and a milestone within our community, it's not enough. We need more funding for housing for our young people.
So maybe expanding those services that already exist, and creating a shelter system that is welcoming and affirming of all gender identities.
There's no reason why houselessness should be a thing on top of the challenges of just like being alive in a queer or in a trans body in this country in this time.
Although this is a big issue, there are little ways everyone can help, such as donating to shelters like the Covenant House, the Attic, and Morris Home, or to GoFundMe set up by individuals. If we all work together to put in effort, we can help eradicate the problem of LGBTQ plus youth houselessness in our communities. This has been Aimee Della Porta, a student intern at WHYY. Thank you for watching.